So yesterday we were discussing about the especially the quinolones, and the mechanism of action was also dealt. And of course, so to recover something, or the quinolones are belong to the new type of the antibacterial drugs, and they are the bactericidal agents, especially the first generation and second generation quinolones. So the mechanism of action of the quinolones is like this. They are going to inhibit the DNA gyrase enzyme, and because of this DNA gyrase enzyme is involved in the synthesis of the DNA, and uncoiling and supercoiling process, which need to be fit inside the bacterial cell, it is involved. So uncoiling, and also there will be a nick is formed, so that the nick should be filled up after it is formed. But whenever this we are using the fluoroquinolones, what happens is it is not healed. Hence, there is a disruption in the bacterial DNA synthesis, and they cause the what you call as the bactericidal action. And of course, they have got the absorption of this. Most of the drugs is better. Just please, sir. So absorption of this agent is still it is better when compared to the other drugs, because 90% of the drugs are being absorbed from this particular this thing, especially. Just hold on. Just hold on. So we are discussing about the first generation cephalosporin, in which the nalidixic acid and the other drugs are there. Then now we will discuss about the second generation quinolones, or these are also called as the fluoroquinolones, and these contain fluorine at the position 6. Yesterday we have seen in detail about the structure activity relationship of the quinolones, and we have seen that in the position number R1, R2, R3, R4, R6, if you infuse the fluorine, etc., then we will have a separate class of antimicrobial drugs will happen. So the advantages of the fluoroquinolones over the regular quinolones is they have got the extended spectrum of activity, especially against both gram-negative and gram-positive bacteria. Usually the nalidixic acid, etc., they are all having the effect against the gram-negative bacteria, and they are not effective against the anaerobe bacteria. So the gram-positive anaerobes, they are not effective, and also they are not so effective against some of the E. coli, etc. And the important advantages of this compound, they have got the extended spectrum, effective against both gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria. And apart from this one, they have got very high potency, then rapid bacterial action, then systemic effects also very high, and they can be administered with the food also. There is nothing to worry, and they have got the minimal side effects when compared to the other drugs, and administration via a variety of the routes. Then once again, to brush up your knowledge, the classification of the quinolones is like this. The quinolones, nalidixic acid and all the congeners, whereas the first generation quinolones, the ciprofloxacin, norfloxacin, papaxloxacin, and ofloxacin. These are the first generation quinolones, whereas the new generations, especially the second generation quinolones, it is of course, you should not get confused because different classifications are there. The new generation quinolones, they include the lomefloxacin, levo, then flufloxacin, prufloxacin, then gatifloxacin, gemifloxacin, third generation, of course, trovafloxacin, and the aletrofloxacin, then finafloxacin. These are all the recent generation ones. So drug of this class used in the veterinary practice very extensively, because the number one, it is efficacy wise, they are effective, and they have the broad spectrum action, and also the safety wise also they are having the wide margin of safety. So here varieties of the drugs can be discussed, like the enrofloxacin, then difloxacin, then orbifloxacin, dano, levo, norfloxacin, and the morbofloxacin. Of course, norfloxacin is little potency wise, little having less potency when compared to the other drugs. Whereas in case of human beings, there are separate class of the drugs like the ciprofloxacin, nirfloxacin, sarafloxacin, enoxacin, lomefloxacin, and ofloxacin. Whereas the enrofloxacin and difloxacin, etc., they are very specially designed for the use in veterinary practice. Whereas the several newer fluoroquinolones are called as the second generation fluoroquinolones with increased activity against the gram-positive cocci and anaerobic bacteria are the sparefloxacin, grapefloxacin, then levofloxacin, then all these. So these are classified as the recent generations nowadays. Then moxifloxacin, gastrifloxacin, and primafloxacin. All these are the recent agents. Then coming to the first drug, that is the enrofloxacin, very widely used in case of veterinary practice. It is a prototypic veterinary fluorinated quinolone drug exclusively for veterinary use only. No other drug has been developed. In the antibiotic also, there are no specific veterinary drugs are there. Most of the drugs are derived from the human use. Whereas the enrofloxacin is a prototypic drug. Usually it is first manufactured by the Bayer Pharmaceutical. Then the veterinary fluorinated unique quinol drug, so it occurs as a pale yellow crystalline powder and slightly soluble in the water. In the upper right side, you can see the structure of this enrofloxacin. So it is related structurally to human approved drug ciprofloxacin, because the enrofloxacin is going to be metabolized as ciprofloxacin and also the original enrofloxacin. So the ethyl group CH3 or methyl group on the piperazine ring is separated. So the mechanism of action is yesterday we have dealt, that is, it is very general to that of the general mechanism, especially the general mechanism of action, the DNA gyrase inhibitor. So to recall once again, DNA gyrase is an enzyme which is very much required for the process of supercoiling and uncoiling process of the DNA strands. So these need to be packed up in the bacterial cell, and this step is especially inhibited by the DNA gyrase, or this step is proliferated by DNA gyrase, and if this enzyme is inhibited, then the bacterial DNA will not be produced. So the antimicrobial spectrum, of course, it has got very good activity against the variety of the bacteria, especially the gram-positive organisms and many gram-negative organisms, and especially many gram-negative bacilli and cocci, including most species and strains of the Pseudomonas, Klebsiella, E. coli, Enterobacter, Shigella, Campylobacter, Salmonella, Haemophilus, Proteus, Serratia, Citrobacter, Yersinia, and Vibrio. So there is a very big name of the microbes which are susceptible to this class of the antibiotic, that's the enrofloxacin. And the other organisms susceptible to enrofloxacin include, so the Brucella, one of the important microorganisms, which causes the zoonotic brucellosis disease. This is the chlamydia, staphylococcus, and the mycobacterium species. So these are all the other things to be dealt. Then the bactericidal activity of the enrofloxacin is concentration dependent. Means as the concentration of the drug goes up, the bactericidal activity increases more. And because of this thing, death of most susceptible bacteria occurring at very low minimal inhibitory concentration, that's the 0.25 microgram per ml. That's also very, very low. So whereas in case of Pseudomonas, it's also effective, little high, that is 1 to 2 microgram per ml. So within 20 to 30 minutes of exposure, most of the bacteria are going to die. So with this concentration, that means with minimal MIC also, they are susceptible. So the minimal inhibitory concentration in vivo, that is very important, because in vitro directly you are going to put the antibacterial drug on the disc where the bacteria culture and the colonies are there. Whereas in the in vivo condition, so many barriers need to be passed. It need to enter the blood, then immediately it will go to the liver, and also at the simultaneously it will go to the kidneys, and the excretion starts and the metabolism both are starting simultaneously. Then the norfloxacin, the enrofloxacin need to be converted to ciprofloxacin, and also the original enrofloxacin will be there. So both of these should act together, and hence a very minimal concentration of 0.25 microgram per ml is enough. Then enrofloxacin also demonstration a long concentration dependent post antibiotic effect of 5 to 8 hours post antibiotic effect. So this is one of the advantageous thing for both gram positive and gram negative bacteria induced diseases. And the antibiotic, post-antibiotic effect, you know what is post-antibiotic effect? Then enrofloxacin is active in case of stationary and growth phase of the bacteria, or the both log phases and lag phases. So initially there will not be the bacteria is going to be quiescent, and suddenly their number will drastically improve within 1 to 2 hours. So that is the growth phase, and the stationary phase is also inhibited. This is very important. Whereas the stationary phase of the growth of the bacteria, especially in case of the tetracyclines or the beta-lactam antibiotics, it's not affected, because it is these drugs are going to act on the fastly growing cell, whereas the enrofloxacin, its mechanism is totally different, and the bacteria which are not growing also, they are inhibited. Coming to the pharmacokinetic, it is very similar to that of the general pharmacokinetics of the quinolone group, whereas when compared to those general drugs, the enrofloxacin is well absorbed after oral administration, and with bioavailability about 80% in dogs and 60% in adults and 40% in foals after oral administration. So this is also a good concentration, especially the oral. As you already learned that the aminoglycosides are not absorbed orally, and they are the quaternary ammonium compound. They are destroyed in the gastric juice. And the peak plasma concentration is attained within 1 hour of the dosing. Just 1 hour, the peak plasma concentration is attained very, very fast. This is a very fast drug. And absorption of enrofloxacin is nearly complete from IM or the subcutaneous site. So whether you are given the drug IV, IM or subcutaneous, complete absorption is there. And this is not irritating also when compared to the tetracyclines. Tetracycline are highly irritating drugs. So the tissue irritation or the site of the injection. And polymyxin B, of course, an anti-fungal drug. It's on a high. It is having lot of irritation if it is given IM. Hence, it is not at all given IM. Polymyxin B, it is only given amphotericin B. It's only given IV injection. So it is distributed throughout the body, including bone, synovial fluids, prostate, aqueous humor, and the pleural fluids. All these are better penetrated. Then it accumulates in very high concentration in WBCs. So this is also another property of importance, because if it is accumulated in the WBCs, then it can directly go to the site of infections. So that's one of the advantages. So enrofloxacin is eliminated primarily unchanged in urine. So the thing is 25% of the drug is metabolized to the active metabolite only. That's the added advantage. The ciprofloxacin. Then this ciprofloxacin is metabolized to the inactive metabolites in the liver. So usually the drug is excreted to the urine and becomes the #1 drug in the infection, bacterial, especially the urinary tract infections. Elimination half-life of the enrofloxacin in dogs and cats is approximately 4 to 5 hours and 6 hours respectively. So this is the side effects of adverse effects of this drug. That is it is having the routine this especially the side effects, the cartilage deformities and the joint or growth disorders have been documented in young dogs. So it is contraindicated in growing dogs. So you should not administer these drugs, especially in the pups below 1 year of the age. Otherwise, there is a defect in joint growth deformity will be there. And the gastrointestinal disorders like vomiting, anorexia, then crystalluria, and CNS disorders like dizziness, the stimulation are similar to the other fluorinated phenols. Whereas the acute blindness has been reported in cats receiving the high doses of the enrofloxacin. So in case of cats, this should not be used. Please remember that acute blindness is one of the most important side effect of the enrofloxacin. So as it is a very commonly used drug in all the animals, never administer it to the cats. They will get blind and will definitely get blamed by the owners, just like the Maneka Gandhi has done yesterday. So don't try to be this thing. That's why you should be very perfect pharmacologist, especially veterinary pharmacologist, before prescribing the drug. So whether you are prescribing a right drug or not, you should not prescribe the drug without knowing about that particular thing. And the clinical uses of the enrofloxacin, of course, varieties of almost all the veterinary pharmaceuticals are manufacturing this thing in different names, like this Floxadine. Then Intravet is manufacturing in the name Floxadine, which is enrofloxacin 10%. Oral solution is also there. Then injection is also there. Then also some of the preparations which these ointments and other things are there. So it is approved by the authorities or FDA, approved for the use in dogs and cats and some species like the cattle, swine and poultry for the treatment of the diseases caused by the susceptible microorganisms. So the activity against Mycoplasma suggests usefulness in the respiratory disease of the cattle, especially the Mycoplasma mycoides, or in case of poultry, the CRD is one of the chronic respiratory disease, or the Mycoplasma is also one of the important diseases. And the enzootic pneumonia, of course, caused by the susceptible microorganism, especially the pig, which cause the mortality. So this can also be treated. So or else nowadays it is when compared to the oxytetracycline, this drug is used very, very widely in case of veterinary practice. So this is used in case of cattle, sheep, pig, poultry, then the horse, and sometimes the marine or the animals also. So this is having the broadest use as on of now. Then the dose, please remember the dose of enrofloxacin. It will be in the examination because this is the most commonly used drug. So it's available as 10% weight volume, means 100 milligram per ml. Here you can see that this drug is available as the 10% means put 10 inside, that is 100 milligram per ml. So you need to give 2.5 to 5 milligram orally 1 to 2 days. Especially in case of cattle, it is 2.5 milligram per kg, and it is administered subcutaneously. Then only one time a day for 3 days, a minimum is required. The cows, or there are also known as the pre-ruminating cows, especially in case of the infections of the respiratory tract, etc. Cough pneumonia is treated with 2.5 to 5 milligram per kg orally or IM once daily for a minimum period of 3 days, and it can be extended up to 5 days. In the pigs, it is used in same dose, that is 2.5. So please remember that the dose of the enrofloxacin is ranging from 2.5 to 5 milligram approximately, whereas in case of piglets, 5 to 15 milligram orally, depending upon the body weight. And the poultry, 10 milligram per kg orally, in addition to the drinking water. Then most of the birds are going to drink the water and get the drug. So that's about the enrofloxacin. Then we have another drug known as the difloxacin. Difloxacin. So it is a fluorinated quinolone marketed as a veterinary product. This is also a very exclusive veterinary product, the difloxacin. So the spectrum of activity of difloxacin is very similar. That is the broad spectrum, and many gram-negative and positive bacilli and cocci are being affected with this particular disease. So the chemical formula is very similar to that of the enrofloxacin with little change here and there. The difloxacin is well absorbed from GI tract after oral administration with weak plasma, this peak plasma levels occurring about 3 hours after the first dosing. So peak plasma concentration of the difloxacin will be achieved after 3 hours of the injection. So the drug is very well distributed to body tissues and fluids, and is marginally bound to the plasma protein bindings. So here please see that the plasma protein binding is very less, 20 to 50%, means the remaining drugs is available for the action. So this drug is also available, but these are slowly released. So peak plasma protein is 20 to 50%. Or the plasma protein binding 20 to 50%. So it is metabolized to a active compound, that's the serofloxacin, by demethylation, but the amount of the active metabolite is very, very small. So please remember that this drug is metabolized to the active compound, that's the serofloxacin. Then the active metabolite quantity is small, but it's effective. Then difloxacin is excreted in the feces. This is very important to remember, because you cannot administer this drug to the urinary tract infections, because 80% of the drug is excreted in feces. Then renal clearance is about less than 5%. Hence, it is total systemic clearance. And some of the excreted active products undergo the enterohepatic cycling, so which probably accounts for the long elimination half-life of especially about 9 hours in case of the dogs. So these have got the 9 hours. Then the dose of this drug in case of dogs is 5 to 10 milligram per kg. That's once daily is enough, especially 5 to 10 milligram per kg. Then the poultry 10 milligram per kg PO orally by addition to drinking water for 5 days. It need to be food, especially here lot of preparations are available. Hundreds of poultry preparations are available, starting from the liquid, then also from the oral solution, and also the powders. So they are all there, especially in case of the difloxacin. So it is the things to remember. It is converted to serofloxacin, not secreted to a higher extent in the urine. 80% is excreted through the feces. Then ciprofloxacin is also another broad spectrum and highly potent fluoroquinolones. So this is the structure when compared to the norfloxacin, this enrofloxacin, a prototypic agent. Then it is a broad spectrum, highly potent fluoroquinolone. Then it is structurally and pharmacologically related to the enrofloxacin. Then the minimal inhibitory concentration of ciprofloxacin for gram-positive organism is usually 0.1, less than 0.1 microgram per kg, whereas it is 1 microgram per kg, while gram-positive bacteria are inhibited at relatively little higher concentration. So it is effective against the gram-positive and the gram-negative bacteria. So nowadays this ciprofloxacin, when after introduction, this has become the drug of choice, especially in case of the typhoid, which is caused by salmonella. So it has replaced all the earlier drugs like the chloramphenicol, etc. Now it is the drug of choice, and it has relatively long and post-antibiotic effect on the Enterobacteriaceae like E. coli, etc. Then Pseudomonas and the Staphylococci. Then it is well absorbed after oral administration in most of the species. However, the bioavailability is about 40 to 50% in case of the calves, and dogs it is 40%. And the distribution wise, it is distributed all the tissues. Of course, it is the passing up of this drug in the blood-brain barrier is little questionable, and it is partly metabolized in liver and excreted primarily in the urine by the glomerular filtration and the tubular secretion. Both of these processes are there, and the elimination half-life is 2 to 5 hours. Means the drug which one enter it to become its original size to 50%, then it is 2 to 5 hours. Both the metabolism and excretion submitted to calculate this thing, and 2.5 hours in case of the pigs and cattle. So the difloxacin, the ciprofloxacin, the oral solution is available for veterinary use. Varieties of the pharmaceuticals do inject, do especially manufacture the ciprofloxacin, especially for the cattle. And chicken, it is available as 5 to 15 milligram per kg. Then it may be administered all the routes, subcutaneous or oral, 2 times daily. Then orbifloxacin is also another drug which is used. Orbifloxacin so orbifloxacin possible. It's a synthetic fluorinated quinolone with a mechanism of action and activity similar to that of the enrofloxacin. It is well absorbed after oral dosing and very well distributed to various body tissues. And approximately 50% of the drug is excreted unchanged in the urine, and it is elimination half-life is about 6 hours, especially in case of the dogs and also the cats. Then orbifloxacin is indicated primarily in case of dogs for the treatment of the varieties of the infections caused by the different bacteria, either belonging to gram-positive and also gram-negative. So it is nothing special, just its potency is more. The dose is the dog and cat 2.5 to 7.5 milligram. Then the danofloxacin. Danofloxacin is a 4 quinolones derivative having activity similar to that of the enrofloxacin. So the trade names Daflox, etc. they are available, and it has been used very widely clinically in case of veterinary medicine for the RX or the treatment of the different bacteria. Then dose is just, it is very less, it's 1.25 milligram per kg intramuscular or intravenous daily. Then morbofloxacin, and this is one of the quinolone with a considerably long half-life of 10 hours, especially in case of the cattle. And it has got the broad spectrum of activity and is well distributed to the tissues. So there is occasional vomiting, loose feces, and transient increase in the activity of the dogs and cats are important adverse effects, especially the nausea and vomiting. Whereas the morbofloxacin is used in veterinary medicine for the treatment of the bacterial infections which are susceptible to it. That's the general, the list of the microorganisms, just like the gram positive and negative, almost all the bacteria are susceptible. Then the morbofloxacin is available as 50 milligram tablet in case of the veterinary practice for the pets especially. Then it's also available as the injection as 10% injection, 100 milligram per ml, and also some of the dose of this drug is 2 milligram per kg orally only once daily. Of course, cattle 2 milligram per kg subcutaneous IV or IV. Once daily injection is sufficient. Whereas in case of the pigs, it is 2 milligram per kg only IM once daily. It's enough. Then the drug, it is also one of the most widely prescribed drug in case of human practice. Then the treatment of, it is used for the treatment of UTI, means urinary tract infections, genital tract infections, and the GI infections. But it is not recommended for the systemic infections because it is very least absorbed, especially in the intestine, and low concentration in different tissues. So the norfloxacin, of course, it's available as 5% injection and available as the tablet. Usually 400 milligram tablet is available, and this norfloxacin is very effective against the urinary tract infections. Still, it is being prescribed, and the very high concentration of this drug is attained in the urine. And apart from this one, please remember that it can be used to treat a case of SIBO, S-I-B-O. SIBO means small intestinal bovine overgrowth of the bacteria. So this can also be effectively used along with some other drug, that's the rifaximin. So both of this time, if they combine, they show a very good bacteriostatic activity. Then the flumequin is a fluorinated quinolone having predominantly gram-negative activity, and it's occasionally indicated in veterinary practice for the treatment of the enteric infections. Example, the colibacillosis and also the salmonellosis. So in case of humans, the typhoid, which is caused by Salmonella typhi, these such drugs are being used. So it's available as the powder with 100 gram sachet. Then yes, totally the 100 grams, and it contains the active principle flumequin. Then ofloxacin is another fluorinated quinolone with antibacterial spectrum similar to enrofloxacin and ciprofloxacin. So all these drugs are also available in case of human beings. Very widely, they are used in the patients. And it is relatively lipid soluble, so its bioavailability is high, and it attains the very high plasma concentration when compared to the other drugs. Then the ofloxacin is used occasionally in animals in therapy of systemic and mixed infections, maybe the cost factor. Then payfloxacin or the Pelvin was the trade name. The Wockhardt used to manufacture this drug, and it is a methyl derivative of the norfloxacin. It is methyl derivative of norfloxacin. Whereas it is almost completely absorbed into the circulation, then penetrates the tissue and attains the very high plasma concentration. So this is extensively metabolized in the liver. Then the active drug is norfloxacin that contributes to its activity. So it is mostly employed in the human medicine and rarely in case of animals due to the differences in the pharmacokinetic. So and price also, because the drug is costly. Then coming to the newer fluoroquinolones, like the newest fluoroquinolones referred as the second generation fluoroquinolones, and sometimes they are also referred as the third generation fluoroquinolones. Examples are trovafloxacin, trovafloxacin, then the levofloxacin, grifloxacin, then gatifloxacin, sparfloxacin, moxifloxacin, and primafloxacin. All these are the new class of the drug which are derived within 1 or 2 years, very recent. So moxifloxacin in case of veterinary, it's available as the 10% solution injection, whereas by the Hatfield Pharma manufactures this drug in the name of the Hatget eye drops. Of course, the levofloxacin and other drugs are also available as injection. So these drugs are the fluoroquinolones with substitutions at C8 positions. C8 position have their advantage, especially they have got a broader spectrum that includes the anaerobic bacteria and also the gram-positive bacteria. So it is having the broad spectrum, and two of these, that's the trovafloxacin and grifloxacin, have already been discontinued in the human use because of the adverse effect of the abdominal and cardiac and hepatic. So usually any drug which is banned in the human beings, it will be dumped in veterinary market, and of course it's also happening. Still it has not entered India, and I think very soon it will enter. And primafloxacin is developed for the veterinary use, but it is not yet available in the market. So this is the structure of the nalidixic acid. Please observe that nalidixic acid is the first generation cephalosporin, whereas the enrofloxacin, the payfloxacin, is having some minor differences, especially the ciprofloxacin. So this is also having a characteristic structure, whereas the general structure of the fluoroquinolones is in the center. So here you can see that the carbon atoms are named as 1, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 this side, and 5, 6, 7, and 8. 8 positions are there, and by altering these positions, the antibacterial effect, etc., they are going to change. And the levofloxacin, moxifloxacin, etc., they are also the antibiotics of emerging importance. Nowadays, these are re-emerging and re-emerging. So that's about the fluoroquinolones, and tomorrow onwards we will deal with the other antibiotics, especially we'll see the anthelmintics or the other drugs. Romi 37. Okay. Now you can log out. Thank you for being with me.